Welcome back to my channel, English Made Easy. Today, I want to ask you something important. Have you ever studied English for months, maybe even years, but still feel like your speaking is slow, unnatural, or even robotic? You learn grammar. You memorize vocabulary. You do exercises. But when it's time to actually speak, your words don't flow. Instead of sounding confident and fluent, you hesitate, translate in your head, and sometimes freeze completely. If that sounds like you, don't worry, not alone. In fact, most English learners around the world struggle with the exact same thing. And here's the big problem: traditional methods of learning grammar drills, long vocabulary lists, memorizing irregular verbs might help you pass a test. But they don't teach you how to speak naturally in real conversations. So what's the solution? What if I told you that the secret to unlocking true fluency isn't hidden inside a grammar book or a dictionary, but inside something much more powerful? Something as old as human civilization itself. The secret is storytelling. Yes, storytelling. The same way humans have connected, taught, and remembered information for thousands of years, long before there were schools, textbooks, or apps. People shared knowledge through stories. Think about it. Children don't learn their first language by studying grammar charts. They learn through bedtime stories, fairy tales, jokes, and family conversations. Their brains connect the language naturally through context, rhythm, and emotion. And guess what? You can do the exact same thing with English. Forget everything you thought you knew about boosting your fluency. The most powerful tool for sounding more like a native speaker isn't found in textbooks, but in the ancient art of narrative. Storytelling is the missing piece you've been searching for. Now, you might be asking, why storytelling? What makes it different from just practicing conversation? That's exactly what we're going to explore. Over the next few minutes, I'll show you how storytelling can transform your English learning journey. You'll discover why stories are so effective, how they can make your vocabulary stick like glue, and how they'll help you speak with more confidence, charisma, and natural flow by the end of this video. You won't just understand why storytelling works, you'll know exactly how to start using it today to improve your fluency. So, grab your notebook, open your mind, and let's dive into the world of storytelling. Because once you master this art, every English conversation will feel easier, smoother, and far more enjoyable. Stay with me, because the revelation is just beginning. In part 1, we uncovered the surprising truth. The secret to fluency isn't endless grammar drills or vocabulary lists, it's storytelling. Now, let's dig deeper. Why does storytelling have such incredible power in language learning? Why does it work better than the traditional methods that so many learners spend years struggling with? 1. Stories are how the brain remembers. Think about the last time you tried to memorize a list of random words. Maybe you had apple, table, run, blue, happiness. You repeated them again and again, but a few hours later, poof, they were gone. Now imagine those same words inside a little story. One sunny morning, a girl placed an apple on the table. She wanted to run outside because the sky was so blue and her heart was full of happiness. Suddenly, the words connect. They're not random anymore. Your brain holds on to them because your brain loves context. And context comes from stories. This is why you remember a funny scene from a movie years later. But you forget half the vocabulary you studied last week. Stories give meaning, and meaning makes memory stick. Point 2. Stories build natural rhythm and flow. English isn't just about words, it's about rhythm, intonation, and flow. When you read grammar exercises, your sentences sound mechanical. But when you tell a story, your speech naturally develops pauses, emphasis, and emotion. For example, compare these two sentences. I went to the store. I bought milk. I came home. Robotic. So yesterday, I went to the store and, you won't believe it, I bought some milk. And then, just as I got home, something crazy happened. Engaging. Which one sounds more fluent? Obviously, the second. Stories push you to connect ideas smoothly. They make your English sound alive. 3. Stories create emotional connection. Here's another secret. People don't connect with perfect grammar. They connect with feelings, experiences, and emotions. If you say, yesterday, I did my homework. Okay, fine. But if you say, yesterday, I was so tired, but I stayed up late to finish my homework because I didn't want to disappoint my teacher. Suddenly, your listener feels your struggle. They connect with you, and connection is what real fluency is about. 4. Stories help you learn culture and context. Language is not just words, it's culture, and storytelling is the bridge. When you hear a British story, you notice expressions like fancy a cup of tea. When you hear an American story, you might hear grab a coffee instead. These little cultural details are powerful. They show you how native speakers really talk by listening to and telling stories. You don't just learn English, you learn how English speakers think, joke, and connect. 5 stories boost confidence. Let's be honest, speaking English in real life is scary. What if you make a mistake? What if you forget a word? But storytelling gives you structure. If you prepare a short story in advance, you know what comes next. You don't have to panic about every single word. You just follow the path of your story. This builds confidence. And the more stories you tell, the more natural your speaking becomes. Mini example. How storytelling beats textbook dialogue. Let's compare to learning situations, textbook dialogue. A. Hello, how are you? B. I am fine, thank you. And you? A. I am good. What is your name? B. My name is Anna. Boring, right? No one in real life speaks this way. Storytelling version. Hi, my name's Anna. You know? Something funny happened this morning. I missed my bus because I was daydreaming about my vacation. So I had to run all the way to school, and everyone was looking at me like I was crazy. But honestly, it turned into a good day because I met a new friend on the way. Which one teaches you more vocabulary, more rhythm, more personality? Clearly, the story.science behind storytelling in learning. Did you know neuroscientists have studied this? When we listen to a story, not only does the language center of our brain light up, our whole brain activates. The sensory areas, the emotional areas, even the motor areas. It's like you're experiencing the story, okay? Not just hearing it. That's why you can remember a childhood story your grandmother told you, word for word, even 20 years later. Stories stick. Now imagine if you used this same power in your English practice every single day. Instead of memorizing boring lists, you'd be living in the language through stories. Storytelling. Fluency Accelerator. Here's the big takeaway. Storytelling isn't just entertainment, it's a fluency accelerator. It gives you context. It teaches you natural flow. It connects you emotionally. It strengthens your memory. It makes you confident. This is why I believe storytelling is the best, most powerful tool for improving your English. I'm going to show you exactly how storytelling improves specific skills: vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, and beyond. So stick with me because the real transformation is about to begin. We've already discovered why storytelling is such a powerful way to learn English. But let's get even more practical. How does storytelling improve specific parts of your English-like vocabulary? Grammar, pronunciation, confidence, and even charisma. Let's break it down step by step. 1. Storytelling supercharges your vocabulary. Think about how most people learn new words. They look at a list like environment, solution, problem, creative, difficult. They write it 10 times. They try to memorize it. But 1 week later, gone. Now, let's place those words in a story. Last year, I faced a big problem. The environment at work was very stressful, and it was difficult to stay positive. But then I found a creative way to reduce my stress. The solution was simple. I started telling funny stories to my colleagues. And guess what? The difficult days became easier, and the environment at work improved. Boom. Suddenly, you don't just know the words, you feel them. You can see where and how they're used. This is what storytelling does. It gives every word a place, a meaning, and a life. And here's a tip. Every time you learn a new word, don't just write the definition. Make a short story with it. You'll never forget it again. 2. Storytelling makes grammar natural. Grammar rules can be overwhelming. Present perfect, continuous. Second conditional, articles with uncountable nouns. It can make your head spin. But here's the magic. When you practice through storytelling, grammar stops being rules on paper. It becomes a natural pattern. For example, grammar, drill. If I had money, storytelling. If I had $1 million, I would travel the world. First, I'd go to Japan because I love sushi. Then I'd explore Brazil and dance samba. Finally, I'd buy a little house by the sea where I could watch the sunset every evening. See the difference? In the story, the conditional doesn't feel like a scary grammar structure. It feels like part of your dream. Storytelling makes grammar invisible. You practice it without stress, and over time, your brain just knows how to use it. 3. Storytelling improves pronunciation and intonation. When you read grammar exercises, you sound flat, like a robot, but when you tell a story, your voice has to change. You naturally use emphasis, emotion, and rhythm. Imagine you're telling this story, and then, suddenly, the lights went out. I was so scared, I almost dropped my phone. But when the lights came back, my little brother was standing there, laughing at me. Notice how your voice goes up and down, how you pause, how you stress certain words. That storytelling at work trains you to sound alive, not mechanical. If you want to improve pronunciation, record yourself telling short stories. Play it back, listen to your intonation, and adjust. You'll sound more fluent in weeks. 4. Storytelling boosts confidence. Many learners say, "I'm afraid to speak English. What if I make mistakes?" Here's the truth. Mistakes don't matter if your story is interesting. People will forgive grammar slips if they're captivated by your tale. Think about stand-up comedians. They make mistakes all the time, but the audience laughs, connects, and enjoys the performance. Storytelling shifts the focus from "Am I correct?" to "Am I connecting?" And that makes you braver. Try this. Prepare 2 or 3 personal stories in English, like a funny travel experience, a childhood memory, or a mistake that taught you something. Practice telling them. Then use them in real conversations. You'll feel 10 times more confident. 5. Storytelling makes you more charismatic. Fluency isn't just about words, it's about presence, about leaving an impression. When you tell a story, you invite people into your world. You make them laugh, imagine, feel. That's charisma. And charisma is what makes you unforgettable. Example, if someone asks, "How was your weekend?" you could say, "It was good," boring, or you could say, "You won't believe it. On Saturday, I tried cooking pasta and almost set the kitchen on fire. My mom ran in, waving a towel, and the smoke alarm wouldn't stop beeping. But in the end, the pasta was actually delicious." Which one do you think they'll remember? Exactly. The story. Mini exercise. Try it yourself. I want you to try this right now. Take a simple fact from your life. For example, "I went to the park yesterday." Now expand it into a story. Yesterday, I went to the park because I needed some fresh air. While I was walking, I saw a group of kids flying a kite. The kite was huge, bright red, and shaped like a dragon. At one point, the kite almost crashed into a tree, but one of the kids pulled the string just in time. Everyone laughed, and I couldn't help smiling too. It made my day. See how much richer, more engaging, and more natural that feels. That's the power of storytelling. Bonus: storytelling helps listening too. It's not just about speaking. When you listen to stories in English through podcasts, movies, or YouTube videos, you train your ear for natural language. You hear idioms, slang, and cultural references. And because it's a story, it's easier to follow. You don't get lost like you do with random dialogues. The big picture. So, let's recap. Storytelling improves your vocabulary. Words in context, grammar, natural, patterns, pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation, confidence. Less fear of mistakes, charisma, captivating. Presence, listening, real-world English. It's not just one skill, it's all the skills. And that's why storytelling isn't just another technique. It's the ultimate fluency booster. In the next part, we'll go even further. I'm going to give you practical techniques and step-by-step exercises for using storytelling in your daily English practice. These aren't just theories, they're methods you can start today to transform your fluency. Stick around, because this is where things get exciting. So far, we've uncovered why storytelling is the most powerful tool for fluency. We've seen how it supercharges vocabulary, makes grammar natural, improves pronunciation, boosts confidence, and even makes you more charismatic. But here's the real question. How do you actually practice storytelling in your daily life? That's what today's section is all about. I'm going to give you practical, step-by-step exercises you can start using right now. Whether you're a 2, B1, or even C1 level, these exercises will meet you where you are and help you grow. Let's dive in. Step 1. Start with micro-stories. You don't need to write a novel. A story can be just 3 sentences. For example, yesterday, I lost my bus card. I searched my pockets but couldn't find it. Luckily, the driver was kind and let me ride for free. That's a story. It has a beginning, middle, and end. Exercise. Every day, write or say one micro-story about your day. Keep it short, but complete. Over time, these stories will grow longer and richer. Step 2. Use the 5-finger story method. Hold up your hand. Each finger represents a part of a story. Thumb. Who is the story about? Index finger. Where does it happen? Middle finger. What is the problem or event? Ring finger. What happens next? Little finger. How does it end? Example. Me thumb. At the supermarket. Opening parenthesis index, closing parenthesis, I forgot my wallet middle. I tried to pay with my phone. But the app didn't work. Ring. My friend saved me by. Paying little finger. Boom, you've got a mini story with structure. Practice tip. When you feel stuck, use your hand as a guide. Step 3. Expand simple sentences into stories. Take a boring fact and turn it into something interesting. Fact. I drank coffee this morning. Story. This morning, I drank coffee because I was so sleepy. But guess what? I spilled half the cup on my shirt. I had to change before work, and I almost missed the bus. But in the end, I laughed at myself. Double quotes challenge. Take 3 simple facts from your day and expand them into stories. Step 4. Personal stories. Make a story bank of your own life experiences. Categories can be a funny mistake, a scary moment, a childhood memory, a holiday or trip, a time you learned something important. Write down notes, not full essays. Then, when someone asks you a question in English, you'll always have a story ready to tell. This not only improves fluency, It makes you more interesting in conversations. Step 5. Storytelling with pictures. Find a random picture online or use an old family photo. Tell a story about it. For example, show a photo of a beach and say, "This was last summer. I went to the beach with my cousin. We tried surfing for the first time and I fell into the water 3 times. But on the 4th try, I finally stood up. It was one of the happiest moments of my holiday." Visuals make storytelling easier and more fun. Step 6. Retell stories. You already know. You don't always have to invent stories. Use ones you already know. A movie plot, a book summary, a joke you like, a news story. For example, retell the story of Cinderella in your own words. Or explain the plot of your favorite Netflix show. This builds confidence and teaches you how to describe things in English. Step 7. Practice. Dialogues as stories. Instead of only telling stories, create conversations. Pretend to people are speaking. Example: "Mom, I lost my keys." Again, "Where did you last see them?" "I think in the car." "Oh no, maybe in the park." "Well, let's go check before it gets dark." Dialogue storytelling helps you practice both sides of communication. Step 8. Record yourself. Grab your phone, record your story, and listen to it. Notice, do you pause naturally? Do you sound clear? Do you stress the right words? This feels strange at first, but it's powerful. You'll notice mistakes you didn't hear while speaking, and you'll improve much faster. Step 9. Share your stories with others. Learning is faster when it's social. Tell your stories too. A language partner, an English teacher, a friend learning English, or even post them on social media. Remember, people love stories. You'll not only practice, but also connect. Step 10. Challenge yourself with story prompts. When you're ready, use prompts to spark creativity. For example, tell me about a time you got lost. Describe a day you'll never forget. What would you do if you won the lottery? These prompts push you to think quickly and tell more engaging stories. Bonus: shadow storytelling. Here's an advanced technique. Watch a short story on YouTube in English. Pause after every sentence. Repeat the sentence with the same intonation. Then try retelling the story in your own words. This combines shadowing with storytelling, a double boost for fluency. Final thought for this section: storytelling isn't something you practice once. It's a lifestyle. The more you tell stories in English, the faster your fluency grows. In the next part, we'll explore real-life success stories of learners who used storytelling to level up their English. These examples will inspire you and prove that this method truly works. We've talked about the theory of storytelling. We've practiced exercises. But now it's time for something even more powerful. Real-life inspiration. Because nothing motivates us more than seeing other people just like you succeed. In this section, I'm going to share real-world style examples of English learners who used storytelling to transform their fluency. These aren't famous people. They could be you, your friend, or your classmate. But their stories prove one thing: storytelling works. Success. Story 1. Alina from Turkey. Alina always dreamed of studying in Italy, but English was her biggest barrier. She knew grammar rules perfectly. She could pass exams. But when she spoke, she sounded robotic. People couldn't feel her personality. One day, her teacher challenged her, "Stop memorizing grammar rules. Start telling stories." So, every day, Alina wrote a tiny story about her life. One was about how her cat knocked over her coffee. Another was about missing the bus on a rainy morning. Slowly, she started sharing these with classmates. At first, she was nervous. But then, something magical happened. People laughed, reacted, and wanted to hear more. She realized that mistakes didn't matter, connection did. Fast forward 6 months, Kana had an interview for a study abroad program. Instead of freezing, she shared a story about a cooking disaster in her family kitchen. The interviewer laughed, relaxed, and told her, "Your English feels so natural." She got accepted. Lesson: storytelling gave Alina confidence and personality in English. Success story 2. Carlos from Spain. Carlos worked in a hotel in Madrid. He had to talk to international guests, but his English always felt stiff. He relied on memorized phrases. "How can I help you?" or "Your room is ready." One day, he decided to practice storytelling. Instead of just answering questions, he started adding little stories. For example, if a guest asked, "Where's the best place to eat?" he didn't just say, "There's a restaurant nearby." Instead, he said, "There's a restaurant near here that I love. The first time I went, I ordered seafood paella, and it was so good I almost cried. My friend laughed at me, but I still go back every month." Guests loved it. They felt connected to him. Soon, Carlos became the most popular receptionist at the hotel. Lesson: storytelling transformed boring replies into memorable conversations. Success story 3. Malik from Morocco. Malik wanted to improve her English for travel. She didn't have many people to practice with, so she felt stuck. Then she started recording herself telling stories on her phone. At first, her stories were simple. "I went shopping today. I bought apples and bread." But slowly, they grew longer and richer. "I went shopping today because my mother asked me to cook dinner. I bought apples, bread, and cheese. On the way home, I saw a street musician playing the guitar. I stopped for 5 minutes to listen. It made me so happy that when I got home, a cooch with a smile." Malik listened to her recordings, improved her pronunciation, and shared some on social media. People commented, encouraged her, and even corrected mistakes. 1 year later, she traveled to Paris for the first time. She could chat with strangers in English confidently, sharing little travel stories, asking about theirs, and making friends. Lesson: storytelling can be practiced alone. Your phone can be your best partner. Success story 4. Raj from India. Raj was a software engineer. He had good technical English, but terrible presentation skills. His slides were fine, but when he spoke, colleagues got bored. A mentor advised him, "Turn your data into stories." So instead of saying, "Our system reduced downtime by 20%, Raj began saying, "Last year, one of our clients was losing thousands of dollars every week because their system crashed constantly. They called us in. At first, it was a nightmare. But after 3 months of work, we reduced downtime by 20%. The client told us it saved them enough money to hire 10 new people." Suddenly, his presentations grabbed attention. His boss noticed, and Raj was promoted. Lesson: storytelling isn't just for casual. English shit works in professional life too. Success Story 5. Hannah from Japan. Hannah loved English movies but couldn't speak fluently. She felt shy, especially around foreigners. Her strategy: retelling movie plots. After watching a film, she'd explain it in English to her friend. At first, she struggled, but over time, she got better at describing events, motions, and even dialogues. One day, she met a tourist in Tokyo who asked for movie recommendations. Hannah confidently told him the plot of her favorite film in English. The tourist was impressed and even invited her to join a movie club online. Lesson: storytelling through movies built Hannah's fluency and social connections. The common thread: notice something. These learners came from different countries, had different goals, and faced different struggles. But the one thing they all used was storytelling. Elena used personal stories for confidence. Carlos used stories to connect with people. Malik used stories for self-practice. Raj used stories for professional growth. Hannah used stories to connect through. Hobbies. Storytelling is universal. It works no matter your level, background, or goal. Your turn. Write your success story. Now I want you to imagine yourself 1 year from now. What will your English story be? Maybe you'll say, "Last year, I was afraid to speak. But I started telling one short story every day. At first, it was hard. But slowly, my confidence grew. A few months later, I could tell jokes, share memories, and even speak in meetings. And now, I finally feel fluent." That can be your story. But it starts with one step. Practice storytelling today. In the next part, we'll wrap everything up with a grand conclusion and a motivational call to action. I'll show you how to turn storytelling into a daily habit and why this could be the game changer in your English journey. And here we are. Friends, the final part of our journey into the world of storytelling and English fluency. We've talked about the problems English learners face: slow, robotic speech, fear of mistakes, and the endless cycle of studying grammar without feeling fluent. We've revealed the secret: storytelling, the ancient art that humans have used for thousands of years to connect, teach, and inspire. We explored how storytelling improves vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, confidence, listening, and charisma. We practiced practical exercises. And we heard real-life success stories of learners from around the world who used storytelling to transform their English. Now, let's bring it all together. The key message: fluency is connection. Not perfection. Here's the truth. Fluency is not about speaking perfect English. It's about connecting with people. And the best way to connect is through stories. When you tell a story, people don't listen for mistakes. They listen for meaning. They laugh with you, imagine with you, feel with you. That's why storytelling is the fastest, most natural way to build fluency, to how to make storytelling a daily habit. Let's make this practical. Here's how you can build storytelling into your life every single day. Daily microstory. Share one tiny story about your day in English. Record and reflect. Use your phone. Listen, learn, improve. Story prompts. Challenge yourself with "Tell me about a time when." Questions. Social sharing. Tell your story to a friend, partner, or even online community. Story bank. Collect your personal stories. Ready to use in any conversation. Even 5 minutes a day can change everything. Your future self. Close your eyes and imagine this. It's 1 year from now. You read in a cafe in London, New York, or Sydney. A new friend asks, "So, what's the funniest thing that ever happened to you?" Without thinking, you smile and begin. "You won't believe this, but last summer," and just like that, you're telling a story naturally, confidently, fluently. Your friend is laughing, listening, and connecting with you. That future is possible, and storytelling is the bridge to get you there. Final motivation, remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be brave. Start small. Share one story today. Tomorrow, another. Each story is a step closer to fluency. Your mistakes don't define you. Your stories do. Call to action. So, here's what I want you to do right now. Think of one small story from your life, something that happened today or yesterday. Write it in English. Speak it out loud. Record it if you can. Share it with someone, or even in the comments below this video. Let's build a community of storytellers, learners who don't just study words, but live them. And if this episode inspired you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell because more powerful English learning secrets are coming your way. Until next time, remember, grammar gives you structure. Vocabulary gives you tools, but storytelling gives you life. Use it, and your English will never be the same again. Keep telling stories. Keep learning. Keep growing. I'll see you in the next episode.